Hi there, and welcome to Discipleship Minutes, brought to you by Revelation Radio and Water Springs Discipleship School. It's our heart that you would be blessed by these few moments in God's Word and challenged to go deeper in your walk with God. And now, with today's Discipleship Minutes, here's Alipio Amaral.
So a guy goes into a doctor's office, and the doctor says, "I've got some bad news for you, and I've got some really bad news for you." He says, "Well, what's the bad news?" And the doctor says, "Well, you only have 24 hours left to live." And the guy says, "What could be worse than that?" And the doctor says, "I forgot to tell you yesterday." If you only had 24 hours left to live, that's a question that many people ask. And when it's asked, those that answer, they always say something like, "Oh, I would go bungee jumping for the very first time," or "I would jump out of a plane," or "I would eat whatever I wanted to eat without any repercussion or fear of getting fat," or they would say, "Oh, I would do this," or "I would do that." Some people have what they call a bucket list, where they have a list of things that they would do to fulfill their greatest pleasure, because they only have 24 hours left to live. They only have 24 hours left to live, and what they want to do is about them. That idea, that 24 hours left of your life idea, is very revealing, because if we would do something that is focused on us in the last 24 hours of our life. Remember, the last 24 hours of our life, we put absolute importance on. It's the most important 24 hours ever. And if in the most important 24-hour slot that we have of all of our lives, it's all about us, then be sure of this, it's always been about us. If the most important time in our life we would dedicate to fulfilling our own pleasures and desires, it's really always been about us. And that's interesting, because in the Gospel of John, Jesus has 24 hours left on earth. He knows that he's going to the cross. He knows that he's going to die. He knows in a matter of hours, he's going to suffer, be crucified, and experience the whole purpose for which he has come to earth: to die on the cross for the sins of the world and redeem mankind, giving us a chance to have a relationship with God. So he's got 24 hours left. 24 hours. Does Jesus do things that are self-centered in the most important 24-hour segment that he's got left? Well, it says in John chapter 13, "And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from God and went to God, he riseth up from supper, laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. He poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' greasy, grimy, grubby feet." It actually doesn't say that. In the 24 hours that Jesus has left on earth, it's not about him. He uses that 24 hours to serve others. It says that he knows where he came from. He knows his purpose. He knows where he's going. And because of that knowledge that he has, he is able to use the most important time in his entire life to do one thing: to love on and to serve others. These are disciples that walk in the East, in the Israel, and their feet are nasty, they're dirty, and there's no civil cleaning company. I mean, it's horrible out there. Camels and cows and other animals walking on the same road that these guys are walking on in open-toed sandals. And Jesus has 24 hours left, and he decides he wants to spend it cleaning up their greasy, grimy, grubby feet. That is his expression of love towards them. If you had 24 hours left in your life, would you spend it on yourself or would you spend it loving on God's people? If you had a limited amount of time left, would you spend it serving yourself or would you spend it serving God in whatever he wanted you to do? The last 24 hours of our life are the most important, and they reveal what it is we're actually living for.
Thanks for listening to Discipleship Minutes, brought to you by Water Springs Discipleship School and Revelation Radio. For the studio recording or for more information about Water Springs Discipleship School, you can click the videos link under On the Air at revelationradio.fm or go to watersprings.net/WDS. Thanks for listening. Be sure to join us again next time for Discipleship Minutes.